Saint Lucy and Hidden Knowledge. Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today is December 13th. This is Saint Lucy's Day. And Saint Lucy is often depicted as holding a plate with eyes. So if you look at the iconography of Saint Lucy, she's often holding a plate with two eyes upon it. And this has been seen by some as connecting her with second sight, with divination, with hidden knowledge. So there are some magical practices, and this kind of goes back to medieval accounts of her story, where in her martyrdom she had her eyes gouged out. So you often see depictions of Saint Lucy with eyes on a plate. So there are some people that work with this by taking a couple of stones on a plate to represent her eyes and asking Saint Lucy to reveal something in a dream and placing the plate with the eyes under your bed. So again, going back to using dreams to communicate with spirits. So Saint Lucy could be seen as connected with divination and second sight. Her name, Lucy, comes from Latin lux, light. Just like in Spanish, luz means light. So Lucy means light. And Saint Lucy's Day in Europe, they often depict her with having a crown. It's celebrated as having a maiden with a crown of candles, a crown of lit candles. So obviously Lucy means light. Her feast day is celebrated with lit candles. So Saint Lucy is associated with light. And again, her iconography often has two eyes on a plate. So Saint Lucy carrying the eyes on a plate, again, this could be connected with second sight, with divination, with hidden knowledge. So again, Saint Lucy, the name means light. Her feast day is December 13th, often celebrated as a festival of light. And her iconography has a plate with eyes. So, what is the story of Saint Lucy and what is this all about? So, the traditional story of Saint Lucy is that this was during the time of Diocletian, who was a Roman emperor that persecuted Christians. Basically, a disappointed suitor, a guy that wanted to go with her, a guy that wanted to, go with Saint Lucy or marry her, she refused his advances. So because she didn't want to go with this guy, he reported her as a Christian to the government. And she was commanded to burn an offering to the emperor, and she refused, and she was killed. So basically, there was a guy that wanted to marry her and get with her, and because she refused his advances, she was put to death. So he basically ratted her out, and the story says that the emperor first said that she would be defiled in a brothel, forced into prostitution, but they couldn't move her from her spot. Hi, El Shaddai, how are you? And so the story says that they tied up a team of oxen to try to remove her. Even the wild beasts couldn't move her. Finally, they burned a fire underneath her, and she wouldn't burn in the fire. And then, in medieval accounts, they poked out her eyes. So her eyes were gouged out, hence the eyes in the plate, and a sword was thrust through her throat. So yeah, there are different stories on Saint Lucy. We have the Acts of the Martyrs from the 5th century. We have medieval accounts. But putting all of this together, basically, there was a guy that wanted to go with her and marry her, and she refused his advances. So he reported her during these persecutions to the emperor, and she was put to death. And she was to be defiled in a brothel, and when she refused and they couldn't move her, they tied up a team of oxen. They couldn't move her. They put a fire under her. She wouldn't burn. And finally, they gouged out her eyes and thrust a sword through her throat. So she's believed to have lived, she was in Sicily, by the way, to have lived from 283 up until 304 AD. And again, Lucy, the name means light. And she's often depicted with eyes on a plate. And she's a patron saint of the blind and of those with eye trouble. And in a magical context, you could see St. Lucy is associated with divination, with second sight. So for those of you that work with saints and magic, St. Lucy is a very powerful spirit to have on your side for hidden knowledge, to know what's really going on in a situation. Let's say there's a situation where you don't know what's going on and you want to kind of get the inside scoop of what's happening. St. Lucy is your gal. So there are different ways to work with her. First of all, today is her feast day, December 13th. You could light a candle to St. Lucy. So lighting candles to her, she's associated with light and fire. And also, there is a practice of taking a plate, taking a couple of stones to represent her eyes, and placing this under your bed, asking her to reveal something, placing the eyes on a plate underneath your bed, and watching what dreams you have. You could also paint eyes on the plate. If you do use stones to represent her eyes, I would cleanse them and consecrate them to this purpose, and I wouldn't use them for anything else. So if you're going to use 2 stones, I wouldn't just get a couple stones off the altar. That'll do for now. No, I would cleanse them, run them through some incense, smoke, tell St. Lucy that this is to communicate with her, and then it should just be for this purpose, ideally, okay? So placing stones on a plate to represent her eyes, or painting eyes on a plate, dedicating this to her, and again, you slip it under your bed to have dreams with her at night. Lighting candles to St. Lucy, offering things such as a glass of water and some white flowers, or offering some flowers to her. So these are ways of honoring St. Lucy. By the way, there are stories. So if you look at these like European traditions of St. Lucy's Day, you often see a maiden with a crown of candles. And it's a festival of light. And of course, it's right before the winter solstice, the longest night of the year. Yet you see the light and the darkness. But the part of the story goes that during persecutions, when Christians were hiding in catacombs, that she would bring food to them, and that she would put candles on her head as a way that she can carry the most food with her hands. She would like have light, basically. So whether or not that's a true story, you get the idea of helping the sick, helping the afflicted, lighting the way. She's associated with light, the eyes in the plate, hidden knowledge and purity. All of these things together are associated with St. Lucy. Hi, Gypsy, how are you doing today? And St. Lucy was from Syracuse, Sicily. Very important saint. So once again, this is December the 13th. It's St. Lucy's Day. Her name, Luce, is light. Her name means light. And like I said, her iconography often shows her with a plate with eyes in it. And she could be worked with for blindness. Let's say you have eye trouble. She could be worked with for a great number of things. But in a magical context, she is especially can be associated with second sight. Again, the eyes in the plate. And her name, Light, could be seen as like shedding light on a situation, seeing something for what it is, and second sight. So I really wanted, every year I've intended to make a video on St. Lucy, and this year I just went ahead and did it, y'all. Went ahead and made a video on St. Lucy. But yeah, she she died supposedly in the early 4th century in 304, and that's what happened. This guy wanted to marry her, he wanted to get with her, and she wasn't having it. So he reported her to the governor that she was a Christian during these persecutions, and the emperor decided to tell her to burn make a sacrifice to the emperor. She refused. So he tried to have her defiled in a brothel, and they couldn't remove her. And so they tried to tie oxen to her, the story says, that they couldn't move her. They put a fire under her to burn her. It wouldn't burn. And finally, in later accounts, they gouged out her eyes and stuck a sword through her throat. So you'll often see her holding lilies, or the palm, which is a symbol of the victory of martyrdom. And you'll often see her with the palm, carrying a plate with eyes in it, holding a sword, these types of things. And again, she is associated with light. Just burning candles in her honor is really good. And what I recommend is, if you're going to work with a saint or a spirit or a deity or an angel, whatever you're working with, if you're going to work with a spirit and ask for something, I think it's good to build a connection first. You know, it's like asking someone you know for a favor versus asking someone you've never even met before. So my recommendation is, before people start trying to do magic with St. Lucy, they should first try lighting a candle, saying a prayer, trying to connect a little bit. Start building a little bit of a rapport and a connection. But once that connection is made, this is a very powerful spirit to have on your side. There are many times that you may want to see what's really going on in a situation. Even for somebody that takes on clients, sometimes you really want to see into a situation on what's going on with that client. So it's very good spirit to have. All right. Gypsy says, just fine. Hope you are also. Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you. And thank you, El Shaddai. All right, y'all. So that's just a quick video on St. Lucy. And many more videos to come, y'all. So thank you so much for joining me. And let me know how it goes with this saint. And with anything, if you get your petition granted, saints really like it when you spread their fame, you talk about them. So, have you worked with St. Lucy? What do you think about St. Lucy? Please feel free to comment or to share. And, yep, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Happy St. Lucy's Day, y'all. Happy Festival of St. Lucy, the Festival of Lights. I'm going to burn a candle to her myself. All right, have a great day, y'all.